Hey, it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise. My Asexual Life is a place to be where I show my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. So subscribe and hit the bell icon. So yeah, this is a video that I hoped I would never, ever have to do. I'm already emotional when I'm doing it. And as always, I be true to myself on this channel. And I got the toilet roll at the ready because I'm really sad because my relationship with the Indian guy who I thought my soulmate is completely over. So yeah, he basically deleted his Facebook yesterday by the look of it. So which was the way he communicated with me mostly. So yeah, and then I spoke to him on the phone. He's pretty much and so today I've clarified that it's over between me and him, so it's really sad. So I haven't been on this channel for a little while, you might have noticed that, and that's because I've been spending time with him in video calls, and I spent the weekend with him. And last week was really difficult because we had some difficulties in the relationship, and it was really hard for me, and I tried to explain myself and how that it was difficult. And so one of the problems was that he was late turning up to a video call. So one day he was late turning up. Originally in the beginning of our relationship, he's late turning up by like an hour. And so he apologized for that. He fell asleep. But if someone arranges to do something, then I like reliability. I like someone to turn up on time and be reliable. And I said to him, like, why didn't you set an alarm? And basically he didn't do that. So I forgave him for that, for being late, which was like an hour. That's a lot. And obviously I manage this channel. I have a lot of work to do. So my time is very valuable to me. And so are me, myself. I respect myself. I value my time. I value my worth. I value things that clearly is not his own values. I value people turning up on time and punctuality. I value responsibility. I value accountability. I value taking things seriously in life. And I value, like things that are different to him. So like I said, I forgive him for that. And then last week he was late on a video call, but he messaged me, which was fine, to say he was just going to be late because he was finished off eating his food, which was no problem, because so long as I know someone's going to be late, that's fine. I can fill my time with other stuff. It shows me deep respect, really values my time, and I really appreciate that. And then the next day he was late and didn't even tell me. And he's like, and then I was angry with him. So I did express angry. I did have an angry tone of voice. And I did say, you're meant to be here on time. Like, it's clear that you don't value my time or my worth. You're like taking the piss, which probably wasn't the best thing to say in the world. It probably was like, probably got a reaction that wasn't good because of the way I said it. Like, you're taking the piss. Because to me, if someone's not being on time, they're like taking the mickey out of someone, right? They're like insulting them, because it's like, all right, I don't value your time or worth. I'll just do whatever, just carry on doing what I'm doing. I won't even like message just to say like I'm going to be late or whatever. To me, I don't like that. I think it's very disrespectful, very rude, and I don't think it's valuing the person all the time. I see like a person doing that as not valuing the person and not respecting them and their time. So it caused an argument, but instead of it working out like in a good way, it didn't. Like, he shut down and didn't want to speak to me much, and then we ended up arguing the same thing the next day. He seems to not have a problem being 5-10 minutes late or whatever. He's like, oh, if you were late by 5 minutes, quarter of an hour, half an hour, I wouldn't worry. But he admits that when he comes home from work, he like does a 9 to 5 job, gets home, he's not got anything to do for the rest of the evening. So with me, it's a bit different, because when I was video calling him, I'm actually eating into my work time, because I was usually working in the evening, because I do usually work in the evening and the night. So for me, I'm giving up my time to spend with him. And if he's not arriving on time, that's not good to me. I like someone who's reliable, trustworthy. If someone's not turning up time, to me, they're not reliable or trustworthy. So that just caused major problems, and he didn't seem to understand why I was so angry and pissed off with the whole thing. And he seems to think that I should have just been happy with him being late, and doesn't matter if a person's late. But that's not my values. I don't be late for things. or if I am, because I am human, if I'm late for things, and I let someone know. So either don't be late, or if I am going to be late, let someone know, you know? Of course, there's rare instances that might happen, something completely out of your control. But if a person's normal is it's okay to be late by X amount of time, that to me isn't good because it's just unreliable. And I do have an anxiety condition, which he seemed to not be fully understanding or not really care about. Or not really wanting to help. I mean, he'll say he'll sort things out, but it wasn't good. So basically, Saturday was really good between us. We had an absolutely amazing time. I talked to him about some difficulties because I actually felt like he didn't really like the second week last week. I felt like he wasn't really into me like he was before. When I first met him, I thought he's a really kind, caring guy, really empathetic, sensitive soul, uh, very loving, very beautiful person, both inside and out, very calming for me, very good for my needs, very good contrast because he's like calm, I'm more anxious. So I thought he was really good for me. You know, I thought his personality, my personality, although different in some respects, would contrast and work really well because I would be like more like bubbly, loud, and talkative. And that would kind of add excitement to his life, and he would be more calmer. So that would kind of like calm me down. So I thought that would work really well. I thought it was working really well. I thought this is really good. I felt I could talk to him about anything and everything in the beginning. I felt he was a really good guy for me. Like he would hold a safe space for me to talk about anything and everything with him. Just before we got together, he's putting on his Instagram like about my love and stuff like that. So I was really happy with that. So I thought he was proud to be seen on social media with me. Didn't seem to have a problem with being on my channel or photographs I posted of him and me. And he used to leave me to say whatever I want on my channel, you know, knowing that he'll trust me on that, you know. And I thought his profiles were like squeaky clean. He's not going around messaging other women. He's not going around flirting with other women. I thought he seemed quite trustworthy in that respect. Um, but there was one red flag before we even got into a relationship. He lied to his best friend about the fact he was coming to see me because his best friend saw his emails because his best friend had access to his emails. So his best friend, I've got to be careful because I want to still respect his privacy. But anyway, his best friend saw when he lied. And then I personally don't like a liar. I don't like someone who can lie to anyone in life because if you can lie to other people, especially his best friend, you could lie to me. And so that did make me really concerned about the fact that he's okay with lying at any level. To me, a lie at any level is just no good. And I was quite concerned about that. But I did let it go because he didn't lie to me as far as I know at that point. So I thought, you know, okay, I just have to like let that go. But as things went on, I discovered that we're not really compatible in terms of values and beliefs and ethics and morals and stuff like that. Um, you know, some of the stuff he said is just like, I don't think he's very good. Um, Sorry it didn't work out. So clearly haven't found he wasn't the one after all. Yes, he wasn't the one after all. Yeah, he wasn't the one after all, sadly. I thought he was my Indian soulmate. I really thought he was because everything lined up in the beginning. He told me that he's different to his caste. You know, in India he goes his own way. He doesn't just do what his parents tell him to do. In 2014, which was the year I started looking for my soulmate, he said that that was the year he decided to change careers and not do the family business and go into like IT, and that's how he ended up eventually in the UK. So he's like thinking it's destiny between us as well. It was all meant to be. We're meant to be together. And you know what I mean? So he didn't necessarily think about all the soulmate stuff that I thought about because obviously I've been looking for my soulmate for 10 years and he only found me on Facebook dating. Like I find him on Facebook dating this year. So you'll find him one day, plenty more cows in the field. Thank you. Thank you so much. So yeah, it's just awful because I thought he was this type of person. I thought he's really good for me. I thought he's such a good guy. I did actually think he was very honest with me. I did love him a lot. Still haven't got over that, obviously, because we just split up. And yeah, and you know, and I was, you know, I was into him and stuff, but it was clear in the last week that I brought to his attention that I seemed to be more into him than he did to me. I was the one saying I missed him. He didn't really say he missed me. He didn't message me as much. He wasn't keeping an eye on how I'm feeling, because before that he was like always attentive and caring about how I felt, like if I was okay, feeling okay in the relationship and okay in the connection with him, which was really nice. I had that reassurance all the time, like, are you okay? How are you feeling? And he was messaging me lots, and he was voice calling and video calling. I was really happy to see me, and enthusiastic to see me. And then last week it was like, okay, so I'm still doing the washing up. It's like, I offered to move the time, right? So I was being reasonable, because I said, well, we can move the time to like 8:10. He was like, no. And it's like, well, I can't do, like, I don't, he'd rather me accept the fact he's going to be late sometimes than actually change the time to when it's better for us both, so that he could get on the washing up and do more things. And then I could, like, not worry about the time. I don't, like, so anyway, he's like, oh, you're saying time's more important than me. It's like, no, I'm saying I love myself and value my time and my worth. And if someone's not turning up on time, to me, it's like taking the piss out of someone, and it's like saying you're not trustworthy and you're not reliable. And it's like, you don't value my worth, you don't respect me. And he's like, oh, you don't respect me because you are like having an angry tone of voice with me. So I said, well, obviously I could do better on the tone of voice thing, but I was angry, and I do have a right to be angry if someone turns up late, So yeah, clearly it's good that I can know that I can try and work on things myself. I still think I've got a lot of self-improvement to do. I always try and work on myself. So I will, like, address things that I need to work on myself. So that just wasn't good for me, because I have anxiety anyway. And as a person who has anxiety, I need to know what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, how I'm doing it. But it seemed to me that I felt like I was driving the relationship forward in the end, because I was the one saying to him, well, let's schedule in the next week's video calls. And, and have you booked the bus up yet to come and see me? And he's like, oh, I just postpone things. And I'm like, and I put them in order of urgency and importance. I'm like, but if I'm your priority, which you said I am, then I should be the most urgent, important thing in your life. Therefore, you should put the bus up rather than leaving it till last minute and stuff like that. So it's just like complete incompatibility, I guess, in the end. Like, I felt like in the beginning he was really interested in me. Like, we would sit and I would eat, and he would just watch me eating and smile at me. But like spending, but in the end, it was more like he was looking away. Like when I was talking to him, for example, a video call, like his housemate would start talking to him. And instead of him saying, look, I'm talking to my girlfriend, he carried on talking to his housemate, which I know in some Indian cultures they do that, but it gets a bit rude after a while. It's like, hello, I'm here. You're completely disinterested in me. Probably because we're having a hard discussion about the fact of like the timekeeping thing. But, I need a guy who's reliable, who wants to turn up to a video call with me on time, and who's enthusiastic about that and wants to see me. Either he turns up on time, or he turns up earlier, or we discover that the time's not good for him or me, and then we move the time somewhere, or at least messages me to let me know he's going to be a bit late. You know what I mean? Because I need to know where I stand with a person. And so I just think it's like, wasn't, there was a lot of things like that were good, and there was a lot of things that wasn't good in there. Like on Saturday, we had an amazing time together. I explained how I felt, that I'd been upset about things, and he said that he knows what to do to fix it. He'll put it all right. And in the beginning, he was apologizing for things that he did, which wasn't good. Like fact he didn't, for over an hour he was late because he, slept instead of doing a video call. And the other day I actually injured myself on a door, and I was bleeding, and he was busy counting money. And I'm like, hello, I'm bleeding. And he carried on counting money. I'm like, I should be more important. And my finger injured. It's that one. I don't know if you can see it on the nail. It's like, you can see it's a bit, it's got some oh my god. I don't want to put it out because it makes it look like I'm sticking my finger up at you, but I'm not. Like, see this bit here, this purpley bit here? Well, it was like there down the nail, but I literally caught my finger on the door. It was bleeding. So I wasn't very happy about that. He did apologize for that, and took responsibility for it, which was good. So, well, in the beginning, I thought he was taking responsibility. I thought he was becoming a better guy, but I think he prefers like less. He comes across as a type of guy that's more laid back, that doesn't like want to put that doesn't want to I don't know how to describe it. He'd rather be lazy, I think, than actually think, okay, I do want a relationship. Like in the beginning, it's more like I want a relationship. I've decided I want a relationship. A relationship is a priority to me. It's important to find my dream girl. I believe Sandra's my dream girl. I'm going to work on the relationship. Any issues or problems that crop up, I'm going to be able to fix them with her. I'm apologizing if I've done something wrong. I'll make things right. And it was all really good. I saw so much goodness in this guy. I really felt connected to him in mind and soul, and I felt that our personalities were different in some ways, but complemented each other. And I felt he was a really good guy for me. Physically, I felt really good around him, and I felt it was really, really good. Very, very physically attracted to him. I learned actually that I could do more touching with a guy than I thought I could in a relationship, because I'm asexual, but I thought I couldn't touch a guy's body in certain places. But actually, from this experience, if I think he's the right guy, I'm really aesthetically attracted to him, then I could do that. I don't really want to look at that, but I could do that for him more than I thought I could, because I thought I wouldn't be able to do that. So that was really interesting for me, and I could allow some more touching on my body, but mostly the front part, the top part, and the bottom part, I don't really like. It's more like my bum I was okay with being touched, which was like on the sides of me. So yeah, that was quite interesting because I didn't think I'd feel that way. And also I did think about living together in marriage, which was really weird with him, which I'd never thought about before, because I don't want to get married and I don't want to live with anyone. I don't actually think in practical terms living with him would have probably worked. So because in terms of like, I can't sleep next to a guy. He can sleep next to me, but I couldn't really sleep. It's a major problem for me. Because I do have fibro and I got pressure points and stuff, but anyway, I did think about that, which I never thought about before. So I guess I learned that about myself, which surprised me, but I think I'm still better off like being single. So in the end, like, I felt that I was more into him than he was into me. And like yesterday, like Saturday, we had a really good day together. We went to cinema. I thought he was very loving, very caring. Even did the washing up. We sat and ate food together, shopping together. Everything was really, really good, and I was feeling good. And then I wasn't feeling good when I initially saw him, because I said that about the difficulties we were having, and the fact I felt disconnected from him because I'd hardly heard from, I hadn't heard from him as much. He wasn't saying he misses me and all stuff like this. And then he seemed to sort all that out. And then we had a great time on Saturday. And then Sunday came. And when we went out together and he was eating pizza, like, he was like, I was talking to him, but he's looking out the window and stuff. So he's like disinterested in what I'm saying. He's saying, I'm listening to you, I'm interested. But I was talking about really hard stuff. Like, I was talking to him about how my anxiety works, to see if he could help in the relationship with my anxiety, to make me less anxiety induced, so that he, like, schedules, like, he's happy, scheduling time in with me rather than me doing that all the time. Like, he's not booking the bus at the last minute, it's done beforehand and stuff like this. Which I think if you love someone and care about someone, really want to see them, you'd book it up anyway. To me, that's just logical. You get it booked, done, and you let the person know. So, but he's like, when he's looking elsewhere and then I'm in the park, walking the park, and he's just looking around, I'm trying to talk to him, I find that really rude. Like, if you went to a business or work meeting and there was someone in front of you, yet you'll go around looking like this. It wasn't like it was kids he was looking at and people just on benches. It wasn't like he was going around gawking at other women specifically, you know what I mean? And I know it's good to look at your surroundings to a certain extent, but I think if someone's talking to you about hard-hitting stuff, things that are really important, it's like looking around, it's just rude. And he didn't do that in the beginning. He was very attentive. So I noticed a behavioral shift and change in him. Like, from his point of view, like, he didn't like the fact that I got angry, expressed my anger, sometimes, and the fact he didn't like the fact that I get bothered by the fact he's late. He thinks it's wrong for me to get bothered about the fact he's late, and it's okay for him to be late, and it doesn't matter. Whereas to me, that's unacceptable, to be honest. And he likes to be calm, and I have anxiety. But I can't help that. I have anxiety, and I'm all over social media. And in the end, he said he didn't like that. Like, he would, like, there's red flags, okay? So he didn't tell his mum about us. He told his sister, but not his mum. And, like, he was posting stuff on Instagram, but then not on Facebook of us. Interesting about the touching. Shows we still have things to discover about ourselves. One good thing you can take from the relationship. Yes, it is very interesting about touching. I don't think I could do that with any guy. I think it was because I was very aesthetically attracted to him. I liked his body, which I don't usually like guys' bodies at all. Not usually interested in bodies. I feel he looked better with his clothes off on his chest, which is really weird. I usually always prefer clothes on a guy. But, and I did get loads of kissing with him, loads of kissing, like in the streets, and holding hands. I loved all that part of our relationship. The physical part was really good. Although there was some times like he asked to try something on me, which I let him do. But then I started crying afterwards. I'm like, I'm not doing that again. So I did let him try to touch my top half a bit with my consent, but I didn't like that. And I kept telling him I don't want to do that again because I don't like it. I tried it. It's fine to try it, but I'm not interested in it. I know he like top bits, but I'm like, I'm not interested. So yeah. But but it is still interesting. I didn't mind touching the guy more, so that was interesting. Because I didn't think I could do that. But so yeah, it was difficult. So yesterday, like he was different. Like he wasn't attentive like he was the day before. He was looking around him when I'm talking to him, not kissing me as much. And also, uh, in the end, I just got really upset. And he started talking about fighting, saying about fighting in his country. I don't even know how we got on this topic of discussion. It was really weird. And he's like, oh yeah, like in a fight in India, like what happens if someone picks a fight, then the other person picks a fight. Like they get their friends, they phone their friends up to come, and they try and sort it out in like like a debate. But if they still can't agree, then they physically fight. And he's a person who physically believes in fighting. And I don't believe in fighting. I don't believe in physical violence. So I've always thought that if a guy is capable of hitting someone in the street in the face and punching them, because I'd be right. So he's basically saying in wars and fights, if I'm right, then I'm gonna, and we can't settle amicably, I'm gonna punch the person. And personally, for me, I don't like violence. And it's when I found that out about him, I just was like red flags in front of my eyes, because it's like, one, you're capable of lying because you lied to your best friend. Two is you fight. You believe fighting's the answer, physical violence. And I said, have you ever hurt a girl? And he's like, he fights with his sister physically. And I'm like, oh my God, so I did get a bit concerned. So sorry it didn't work out. You'll find someone else one day. Someday. Thank you. Yeah, so there's character traits of him that I liked, that I loved, and character traits of him I didn't like. And I guess with me, he doesn't like the fact I have anxiety because he likes to be chill and calm all the time. But like he did say sometimes to me, like, slow down when I'm speaking, but I'm naturally a loud, bubbly, hyper person. I thought that's why he liked me in the first place. But then he told me he puts videos. Hello from India. Lots of love to you, orangutan man. And so he did say to me about slowing down when I speak, because I talk fast. But yet then he told me in the cinema he speeds YouTube videos up to 1.5 because it's like faster. He can get through it quicker. It's less boring, basically. And he said he found the film a bit boring. We saw the King versus Kong, Kong versus Godzilla film recently, and on Saturday, and like he was like looking. He says, "Oh, I like to have peace of mind," but I like to have peace of mind at the cinema. And he was looking at his watch and phone, like for the time, and he told me the reason I'm looking at my watch is because like I usually speed it up because I found it a bit boring in places. Like I wanted it to speed up. Like I found they should have done a longer ending though, which didn't make sense. It's like if you want it quicker over, then why have a longer ending? But the longer ending, he said that he wanted more fighting scenes and stuff, which I do understand. But like if he likes speeding things up, videos up, yeah, he wanted me to talk slower. And he finds it boring when it's slower to talk. Then that doesn't make sense. Why try and get me to be slower, which is not my usual speaking anyway? Because he says, oh, you're on stage, you should be speaking calmer and slower. I said, actually, the people that I watch on stage, Tony Robbins, for example, if you're not in the entrepreneur space, you might not have a clue what I'm talking about right now. But people like Russell Brunson, Tony Robbins, Gary Vaynerchuk, they all talk really fast and loud, and those are the people I admire the most. So I do talk fast and loud, although I do slow it down to when I'm talking on stage and stuff. But I still have learning to do. But when I'm talking everyday conversation, yeah, I do have a loud voice naturally. So it was really weird, and it's horrible because what happened in the end is literally yesterday, after he said to me, everything will be all right between us, I'll fix all the problems. I understand where you're coming from because I told him about my anxiety. I told him how upset I was and all the things I had a problem with, which he's always provided before last week. He always provided a safe space for me to do that. Whereas last week, he just basically was shutting down and I was doing all the talking nearly and he wouldn't even respond much. He just said he's angry with me, but I didn't understand why he's angry with me that he turned up late for our video call and he didn't message me in the first place. I was angry he didn't do that, but yet it turned out that I was the one in the wrong because I upset him and made him like angry. I don't get that. It's like, hang on a minute, you did not attend the video call on time. You didn't message me. Yes, you could argue it was like you were washing the dishes. It wasn't a big deal. It was a bit late, but the deal was that you didn't respect me enough to like message me to let me know what was going on. Because I don't know when you're coming on if you're late. You know what I mean? You didn't, you'd rather do the dishes than see me. That was not how you were like a week ago. You know what I mean? And also, like, so before he was eating on the video call with me, he's washing his dishes while he's talking to me. So really, for me, there's not really an excuse. He could just put the video on and carry on washing the dishes. So, like, it's just really hard. And, like, if he can't sort that out, I don't want to be having a situation where I feel like, oh, yeah, I should just allow someone to, like, call me whenever they feel like it, if they're late here and there and everywhere. I can't cope like that. It's disorganized to me. And erratic, and you know what I mean? So I think he likes mental peace, as in like to just go home, go to sleep and not do much. Because his life before was like going to sleep at 9:45 at night and then not doing much, and I can't live like that. And when I met him, he said he's a thinker rather than a doer, whereas I'm an action taker, but like I did love a lot of stuff about him in the beginning. I loved loads and I thought we were really compatible. I thought he was a really good guy for me. But yesterday, after I told him everything about how upset I was, and he reassured me that he would sort everything out, give him 5 days to sort it all out by next weekend when he comes to see me, everything would be sorted. And then he deleted his Facebook profile basically, so he couldn't speak to me anymore on there, so he couldn't do video calls with me. And that is just a complete betrayal. I said he blocked me. And he phoned me up. He goes, oh, I haven't blocked you. I said, you have blocked me because you're unavailable on Messenger and I can't see your content. He goes, oh, I swear I never blocked you. Right. But I think he's deleted his profile rather than blocking me, but he still did that. And it's horrible because he was on Facebook already, but he didn't really use it much. It was like June last year, I think, the last time he used it. And he said, oh, your social media's the way you are with social media is like giving me a headache. But I said, you knew before you got into a relationship with me that I'm all over social media. And I don't think it's much to ask to just post a couple of photographs of me and you on your Facebook. What, it takes 3 seconds to do that? I thought the guy who's my soulmate would be proud to be seen with me on social media, and I wouldn't have a problem with that. Because I said to him yesterday, the fact you haven't told your mum about us means to me you're not sure about us. The fact you haven't posted photographs of me and you on Facebook means you're not sure about us. I don't know whether you're coming to live next to her or you are staying in London. He sounds every childish and immature. Does not deserve you. Thank you, orangutan man. I really appreciate it. Lots of love to you. Yeah. I mean, in any relationship, you have to be reliable. You have to be like on time. You have to be valuing the person's worth and respecting. And in the end, it was me that I felt like I was doing the work. He said, oh, I feel like I'm the one putting all the work into a relationship because I've already told you that I'm intending to move to your city. Well, before he came on Saturday, he said he wasn't sure whether he would stay in London or Exeter. And then when he was here on Saturday, he goes, oh, yeah, I am going to go for the job in Exeter, but it wouldn't mean giving up his dream job to be with me. So I don't know if he's going to resent me for that anyway. But the fact that he just like stopped talking to me on Facebook, you know what I mean? Like a girl who he loved last year, 8 to 9 months. He was doing a video call every night with her. He wanted to marry her. And then he found out that she was already married with a kid and she ghosted him. And then he just goes off Facebook. Like, even Kerry goes, oh, I'd rather live in the real world. You know what I mean? But the real world these days does include social media at the end of the day. And, and I use Facebook Messenger was the way I spoke to him. He specifically downloaded it to talk to me. And so he came on the phone with me last night, saying I never blocked you. I said, well, what did you do to Facebook? Because I can't access your, it says the person's unavailable. I basically can't see the content. You blocked me. So I think he's deleted his Facebook from what I can tell. But it's disgusting. And he couldn't even have the guts to tell me that we're not in a relationship anymore. It's over. So I went on his Instagram and texted him that it's clearly over because you blocked me on Facebook. Then he phones me up going, oh, I never blocked you. There's some problem with my phone. Some problem with my app. I never blocked you. It's like, who blocked me then? The tooth fairy? Like, do you know what I mean? And even if he's deleted his account, it's still deception. He still stopped talking to me on there, and he knew that's how I communicated with him and what I needed. So not only did he reassure me that everything was going to be all right, that wounds healing time, and that he cares about me, he then did the exact opposite, completely broke my trust, stopped, tuck Facebook connection off with me. And you know what I mean? And that was it. And I sent him, like, last night, he goes, "Oh, I've got food to eat, laundry to do. I just need to go sleep." So it's like he doesn't fight for our relationship anymore, in the end. Before he was fighting for a relationship, he wanted to make sure I was okay, cared about me, loved me, respected me. And it's like the next week he's not bothered to do that. So yeah, but you can't have a relationship if someone's not talking to you. If I've got a difficulty in the relationship and I go to him, but yet he just shuts down and doesn't say anything for ages, and I'm the one doing all the talking, you can't have a relationship like that, because there's not a teamwork. And I was getting really miserable. He asked me on the phone last night, "Are you still happy? Are you happy with me?" And I'm like, "Well, no, I'm not at the moment. I was, but I'm not anymore." He goes, "Oh, you deserve to be happy." I'm like, "Yeah." Because he's like, "Oh, do you want to be in a relationship with me still or not?" And I'm like, "I don't know." But I didn't want to give him up. I'm sorry that happened to you. Thank you. But it's like, you haven't even got the guts to tell me to my face, or to even say, he had the opportunity before he left to just say to me it's over, but he didn't. Sounds one-sided. He was not so full of compliments to you, lovely. Yeah, he was complimentary in the beginning. Yeah, another thing that was really bad, which I haven't mentioned, is at one point I kept saying he's gorgeous, because I think it's nice to compliment the person you're with and their looks and make them feel special, loved, cherished, and adored, because that's what I was doing with him in the beginning. I thought he was doing that with me in the beginning, and I felt like that with him. And in a relationship, as far as I'm concerned, in a relationship, you need to be making the other person feel loved, special, cherished, and adored the majority of the time. Like, you can't do it all the time. You're gonna, like, you're not perfect, right? But that they should feel good in the relationship with you. And and basically, I wasn't feeling that anyway in the end. I was feeling like I was the one that was into him. I was the one that interested in him. And at one point I said he's gorgeous. So one time he came on video camera and go, "I'm more good looking than you. I'm better looking than you." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "That's just disgusting." Because I said, "Oh, you're the most gorgeous looking guy in the world to me." Guy in the world to me. That's what I mean to say he's the most gorgeous looking guy to every woman and everyone that's ever lived. It means he was the best looking guy to me. For me, guy, not comparing him to myself. So he went and said, he's better looking than me. I thought, okay, that's really horrible. Do you know what I mean? I have loads of guys interested in me. Even when I announced on Facebook that I'm single now, I have Indian guys in my inbox. Nobody is looking better than you. Oh, thank you. Orangutan man. It's like, when you know what I mean? It's like, why compete? Like I said, I'm not in competition with you. I said, and I don't think you're better looking than me. I'm not comparing you to me. You're a guy. I'm a girl. It's completely different. And why would you even say that? It's just a weird statement to make. I've never ever heard a guy even say that, unless he's very, the only time I hear a guy saying in terms of, well, it's like, I haven't heard a guy actually say he's better looking than his woman. I've never ever heard of that. But in terms of, like, I know some guys say, "Oh, I'm better than you in terms of personality," and that's a narcissistic bad guy who's like that. But I've never heard a guy go around telling him, "I'm better looking than you." I'm thinking, but he said when he met me that no one made him feel special until I was with him. But clearly it all went to his head by the sound of it, because he told me in the end, he said, "Don't sound gorgeous anymore because it goes to my head." I'm like, but yeah, so like, that's horrible. How can he say that to you if he cared about you? Exactly. Exactly, that's why I was getting miserable in the end. I was thinking, I'm more happy being single. I'm more happy on my own. I'm more happy being single. I was more happy, like, like, he was video calling me and he was, like, making an effort to message me and stuff. But, like, in the last week, it was much less. And he said, "Oh, it's because I've got loads of work on," which I do know works is really busy. But at the end of the day, the previous, he was having the same job as before, although he had more to do. But I mean, he could have gone to the toilet and messaged me. He could have, like, had a break and messaged me. You know what I mean? But yesterday, when he was on Facebook, I knew something was up, because when he left me, he was on Facebook for over an hour and he told me he only uses Facebook for me. And then when I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, I'm looking at the Facebook features because I'm outdated on social media. Ha ha ha." And I thought, this doesn't sound good. The laughing doesn't sound good. It sounds like really cold and callous. And then that's when later on I found out he basically deleted either deleted his Facebook or blocked me on Facebook, one or the other, but I'm, you know, no longer there. You are better off on your own. You don't deserve to be treated like that. He is not welcome in India. Yeah, it's horrible. It really is horrible. You know, I'm like, I was in shock. I'm like, how can you go from being this nice, kind, caring, sensitive, loving human being to being this guy who like doesn't really give a shit about me, not really interested in me? He was saying to me on the phone last night, I'm giving up everything for you. I've got 70% of my documentation come ready to move to Exeter. So he was saying like he's given 100% to the relationship still, and he's coming, but he worries now that if I split up with him in 6 months' time. And I was like, but you blocked me on Facebook. He goes, I didn't block you on Facebook. So he's clearly lying. If he didn't block me on Facebook, maybe that is technically correct because he deleted his Facebook, as far as I can tell, which is how he can get away with saying he didn't block me, because he just deleted the whole thing, as far as I can tell. But you know, but it's horrible. You know, make her feel, you know, to make a person feel secure and like, okay, I hear the problems. I'm going to sort it out in a relationship. I'll fix everything by next weekend. Everything will be fine. Then to just go and do that and pull it all away from the person is horrible. But I am super strong, luckily, so I will survive this and I'll be fine because I'm me. And I, you know, he's a fake man. Yeah. Yes, he is fake, actually. I do agree with that, because he was on about me, social media's fake, like Instagram and stuff. But I said I'm all over social media and I'm not fake. Everything you see with me is completely authentic and real. He's going, oh yeah, but usually it's fake. So if he uploads a photograph to Instagram, he has to make sure he gets exactly the right one, which takes him ages to get. And I said, but he's telling me he's not interested in what followers think. He's not interested in what followers think. He's not interested in likes. He's not interested in comments. He doesn't even reply to other people's comments, you know? And so, but I'm like, clearly, if you take ages to decide on one photograph to put your Instagram, you're worried about what people think. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But, you know, it's just not good. I wish him the best of luck and love in his life. I hope that he gets whatever makes him happy, you know, but clearly we're not going to be compatible. You know, I sent him like, he couldn't even end the relationship properly, so I ended it today by sending him a message saying I'm ending it now, just to officially end it, because I got anxiety. I don't want to be like thinking, are we still in a relationship or are we not, you know? Although I kind of ended it last night when I said you blocked me on Facebook, because clearly it's over between me and you because you did that. And then he's like trying to say no. So what's the point? What is the point in even video call? He said, oh, I've been asleep on the bus for ages. I didn't block you. I was asleep. And I've just seen your message now. I'm like, clearly you're not on Facebook anymore. You know that. That's how I talk to you. And that's what made me happy. And he's like, so basically he said in the end, social media that I do is giving him a headache. Because I asked him, I said, it'd be nice if you support me. Did you watch my Oxford University talk? He's going to know I haven't had a chance yet. I said, it'd be nice if you like, you know, he said, oh, I have it. He said something about being on my YouTube, watching YouTube. I said, yeah, but you never comment on my YouTube channel. I said, it'd be nice as my partner if you supported me. You know, like, you know, message you comment. He goes, oh, I don't even comment on my friend. Like, if any friends comment on his post, he doesn't bother to respond to them. You know, which I think is quite rude, actually. You know, so yeah, it's a shame. But he was gonna his visa runs out in September, but he was gonna get sponsorship in the UK to stay with me. But now obviously he's free to go to do whatever he wants in the world, which is fine. He can have his dream job. He's very materialistic. When I met him, actually, before I got into a relationship with him, really materialistic, very money driven. But I said, the people you know that are really money driven, that's successful in money, are they successful in relationships? And he's like, because he was talking about specific people, and he's like, no. And he goes, oh, I won't make that mistake. And I'm thinking, well, clearly now you have, you know? So his argument would probably be like the fact I have an angry tone and he doesn't like that about me and I'm not good in that way. He would probably say that I prefer social media to him, which is not true. I just use social media and it's a big part of my life. He would say that, oh, she cares more about time than me because I was late and I was just washing the dishes and it was such a big deal and she was angry on me. So he would say that about me. And he would probably say that I'm giving a headache. And you know what I mean? And because I have anxiety and I like, you know, like I like to manage my time well, and he just likes to have stress and peace. In other words, he likes to be lazy, come home, like just not do much and go to sleep. Whereas that's not how relationships work. And the other day he's like, "Oh, I've got you now. I've got my love. I've got the relationship. Now I need to sort the rest out." I'm like, "Yes, but you have to not take me for granted and maintain and sustain persistently and consistently a healthy relationship. You can't just getting into a relationship with someone's the easy part. Maintaining it in a healthy, persistent, consistent way is the hard part. You know? So, you know, in the end, I think he like would say I disturbed his mental peace, you know, and I gave him stress and a lot of things like that, right? But yes, so fair enough if that's what he wants to say about me. But you know, from my point of view, I think I deserve better. I think it's absolutely disgusting the way he's gone about splitting up with me. A lot of young Indians are bad, like fighting and fakeness. You're better off with Desi, British born Indian. Oh, thank you for letting me know that. You know, it's like I don't like lies. I don't like fighting. I don't like lateness. You know, I don't like any of those things. I don't like a guy who leaves things to the last minute, who like just wants to do things spontaneously, who doesn't organize things, who I don't know where I stand with. I don't like those things, you know. Like I was thinking, like on Facebook dating when I met him, if I'd have known about these things before I got into a relationship, which is my fault because I got into a relationship quickly with him, I take responsibility for that, then I probably wouldn't have been with him in the first place because I don't anyone who lies, it's usually a complete no straight away for me. Lie about anything, out the door, not interested. Thinks violence is the answer to anything, out the door. I'm not usually interested in that. Someone who doesn't respect my time, I'm not usually interested in that. Someone who thinks they're better looking than me is like, yeah, out the door, you know? So you know, but it's my fault in the sense that I got into a relationship with him quickly. I trusted him based on what I initially saw about him and all the good qualities that I saw he possessed, all the beautiful things about him that I loved. But, you know, at the end of the day, if it's not like that anymore in the relationship, I mean, on Saturday, it was great. Like, he was just like he was before. But then yesterday, I did get really upset and I was crying a lot. But, you know, if I'm crying a lot, I'm really upset and not happy in the relationship, then something's wrong. You know? He missed out big time. Thank you. Maybe one day he will actually regret it. But then if he thinks I gave him a headache, he probably won't. You know, he'll probably be like, "Oh, I can sleep now." I'll be like, "Enjoy your sleep. You can sleep for 1,000 years. It's not going to make you have a happy, healthy relationship and be with someone who really loves you and dotes on you and adores you." You know, because I said to him, "Why are you in a relationship with me?" Because he said, "I'm not in a relationship with you for your body. I'm in a relationship for the whole package." And I'm like, "What's that?" He goes, "Oh, your caring nature, the fact you're kind, the fact you love me, you know, and all these types of things." You know, so yeah, it's just really hardcore, you know? I would not you know, like, it's hard to believe that someone who said all nice, kind things and loving things and reassured you, you know, in the relationship would then just literally pull out of Facebook and basically not have a means of video calling with you anymore. I mean, he's still on Instagram. I did block him on there, but then I unblocked him last night after he phoned me. But I'll probably have to block him again, I guess. I can't see his stuff anymore anyway because his profile's locked. But you know, I blocked him because I thought he's gone off Facebook. He's blocked me on Facebook, so I better block him on Instagram and just send him a message first to see if he can put the situation right, which he didn't do. But this morning when I woke up, he hadn't texted me, he hadn't messaged me on Instagram, and he hadn't reactivated his Facebook. So clearly he's not interested in a relationship with me anymore. So I basically said this to him and goodbye. You know, he sounds very fake. Yeah, well, you know, it's hard, you know. You know, I take full responsibility that I got into a relationship with him quickly. That's my fault, but I don't think I deserve the treatment of like the way he behaved with me in the end, of like just basically deleting Facebook so he couldn't talk to me anymore, couldn't video call me anymore after reassuring. Why bother reassuring? Why not tell me to my face, yeah, actually, Sandra, I don't think we're compatible. So I think we're better off like not being in a relationship anymore. Why not tell me that to my face or on the voice call last night when he was, you know, it's not your fault and you don't deserve it. Oh, thank you. You know, I guess he'll try and blame me though, but there we go. I am in love with you. Icy matey. Oh, thank you, whoever you are. You know, it's weird because I had an Indian guy in my inbox straight on Facebook going, "Oh, forget about him. I'm interested in you." I'm like, "What?" I said, it's like, "Oh, I could be a relationship with you." I'm like, "You're in India and I don't even know you." Oh my God. But he's like, "Oh yeah, but forget about this guy. It doesn't matter about him. Just forget about him. Get on with your life. Get on with your career. Be happy with you. I'm here for you." It's like really weird. Indian guys always show up in my life, whenever I need them, which is really weird. But yeah, so this guy was like in my inbox, saying like, "Forget about him. I'm here now. He didn't deserve you," and all the rest of it. But I don't want to get into a relationship with any guy. I just want to stay single and happy being single. I just don't. I deleted Facebook dating. I deleted Badoo, which I had a premium account to. I deleted ASAP even. I just don't want to be in a relationship anymore. I'm happy being single. It's horrible. I was happy to be in a relationship so long as it was good and healthy for me and felt right and I felt good in it. But being in a relationship making you miserable and like being stressed, I had actually a stress rash before he came on Friday. I was that upset at the way things had gone in the week, and that I had like literally a stress rash come up all over my neck. Because like before he was sorting the problems out, any difficulties was always caring and kind. And then last week it was completely opposite. But you can't have a relationship with someone who just shuts down and doesn't want to speak to you. It can actually be stonewalling if you're not careful as well. It's where the person shuts down, purposely gives you the silent treatment. So I am non-asexual, but you are stunning. We could make it work. Well, I do give good kisses. Icy matey. He was very stimulated by my kisses alone, I can tell you that. So he didn't need to have sex with me. I have to tell you that. Something I'm very good at. But yeah, so yeah, he wasn't asexual either, but he said that's not why there was problems between me and him. So but yeah, so it's just like I'm sold, said Icy Matey. Thank you, darling. I'm calling you darling now. I don't even know you, but I used to call him darling, so it's kind of a habit. Um, but yeah, at the end of the day, he wasn't my soulmate after all. It's a shame, but you have to have two people believing your soulmate's not just one, and you have to have someone who's kind, caring, empathetic, sympathetic all the time. I was telling him some really difficult stuff about when I was bullied at school and about being suicidal, and no reaction from him whatsoever. And this is a huge red flag. I told him some stuff in the beginning because he asked me, why do I not want to get married and why do I not want to live with someone? So I told him about my past relationships and how difficult they were and the trauma I'd had in them. And in the beginning, he was really kind and caring about that. And he was comforting and saying, "Oh, time heals all scars," and stuff like that. And I thought he was an empathetic guy. But when I'm talking about the fact I was bullied in school, because he was on about fighting, and I said, well, one of my exes actually, some guy got off the bus. This is true. When I was 16, I was in a relationship with a boyfriend. I was in he may be a scammer or a hacker. Dario, I saw him in real life though, so I know he's an actual person, but I'm not I'm not saying he's not a hacker. He's got lots of yeah, I did find out he's got some dodgy online stuff he does with email stuff and that. Yeah. Anyway, I'll leave him to do that. I just said it's dodgy. I don't want anything to do with it. So that's his business. But yeah, so what was I saying? So yeah, so I was talking about when I was 16. When I was 16 in a relationship, right, with a guy, and I was telling him this, there was literally this guy that got off the bus and ran across the road at my boyfriend at the time when I was 16, and he wanted to hit my boyfriend at the time. This is going back to when I was 16. And my boyfriend at that time just ran off and left me in the middle of Exeter. Like, I live in Exeter now, but I didn't live in Exeter then. I was like, didn't even know the city. I was alone at night. He ran off and left me because he was running away from a guy who was trying to hit him. And the reason the guy was trying to hit him is because he said, you were looking at my girlfriend on the bus. So he'd run off the bus right across to my boyfriend to try and smack my boyfriend in the face to tell him off for looking at a girlfriend. So not only was I upset about the fact my boyfriend ran off and left me in the middle of well, to me it was like the middle of nowhere, Exeter, because I was an only child. I was out in the countryside. I wasn't used to Exeter. And it was dark at night, evening. I didn't know where the hell I was going. And I was scared. I was on my own. So he ran off. The guy ran after him, which put me in a really difficult, scary position. When my dad picked me up, my dad was like, this guy's meant to take care of you. He's your boyfriend, but he's not doing that. He's just leaving you. This is not a good guy for you, he said to me, you know? So when I spoke to this guy yesterday, and I said to him, oh, I've got to plug my charger in my laptop a minute. When I said this to this guy yesterday, that the guy I was in a relationship with, that about fighting's not good, and I was explaining all this, I said, you know, the guy I was with in a relationship at 16 years old, he wasn't thinking about me. He was just thinking of himself and his ego, you know, and the fact that he needed to get away. I said, not only was it horrible, he left me, I was left in Exeter all, at that time, didn't know it, by myself. I said he actually was looking at other women, but you know, like other people's girlfriends. I said, so it was doubly hard. I said, so if you were fighting a guy right now, and I said it would put me in danger, and that's not looking after me. I said, as far as I'm concerned, a guy in a relationship needs to protect his woman and care. I said, obviously, if it was self-defense, if a guy was going to hurt me, that's different. Only time I'd fight is for you, love. Oh, you're so sweet. But you know what I mean? So it was just like, I just don't think we've got the same morals. I don't think we've got the same standards. I don't think we got the same values. I don't think we got the same ethics, you know, like he will do stuff just for money a lot of the time. And I'm like, I just won't. I won't be dishonest for money. I just can't do it. I know it's hard for foreigners in the UK because it's really difficult. Oh, sorry. I need to put my phone on silent. I need to put my phone on silent, which I usually have on silent, but I didn't like have it on. Yeah. So yeah, so it's just not good really, you know. I don't know what else to say, but you know, like I just think our morals, our beliefs, our ethics, our standards, our expectation, I just think they're completely different. I don't want a guy who's lazy. I don't want a guy who's not on time. And you know, I'm not saying he put no effort in. He was putting effort in. He was video calling me. He would, you know, he would get back home. Like he was coming to see me in Exeter. I didn't have to go and see him. He was like packing stuff. He was coming to see me. He was booking the bus up. He was messaging me, just not as much anymore. And he was still keeping the relationship going. It's just I don't think he was doing it in the right way, and I don't feel he was that into me as much anymore. So like he did like video calls me even though he's tired. Like he would video call me from like 8 or something. You know, if he was on time, and you know, he was putting time into the relationship. He was coming to see me and spend time with me, giving up his weekends to be with me, if you like, and his evenings. Not that he said that he doesn't do much in the evenings anyway, so it's not like he was really giving stuff up as much. But like with me, I usually do work in the evening. So for me, seeing to him, it's like sacrificing some of my work and my time. But I'd usually be doing other things, you know? So in the end, he said, I don't know what I can do to get you to trust me. But this was after he'd deleted his Facebook account and stopped connection with me on Facebook. It's like, I said, you've done the worst thing you could possibly do. You know, like for trust, like, you know what I mean? Because I trusted him and then he's done the worst thing. So instead of like helping our relationship and sorting the problems out, difficulties, he just created more and then denies he even did it. Probably because he's deleted his Facebook rather than blocked his, rather than he's done something to his Facebook. It's clearly because he started looking at the Facebook features, which is not even interested in social media. Why is he doing that? He was on there for over an hour. So I don't know what he was doing, but clearly he's found a way of like either deleting his Facebook, disabling it temporarily, or blocking me or wanting that. But you don't do that. You know, if you love someone, you don't do that. If you care about someone, you don't do that. Clearly it was over. And I told him it was over. But you know, I've made it clear today it's over. For definite now. You know, I messaged him. He's not bothered to message me back, of course, because he doesn't care. He couldn't care less. I think he just like, oh, I'm glad, you know, I don't care anymore. So yeah, you know, I don't think he'll probably even shed many tears. He's probably just really happy. You know, like he's not having to make an effort to come and see me anymore. He's not having to make an effort to video calling me. He can go back to like sleeping at 9:45 at night. I'm younger than him. Like in birth certificate age, I'm older, but in terms of being younger, I'm like literally the younger one because it's like I'm up till late and he's like got to be asleep for like really early. But he was up later with me, and he says sometimes he can't sleep because he's like my energy rubs off on him, like good energy. You know, that's what he was saying in the beginning anyway. So it's a shame because I did love him implicitly and I did care about him, but I care and love myself. I said to him, like with the time thing, I said, you know, I care about myself and I love myself and I respect myself and I value my worth and I value my time. And he's like, oh, you're not putting me first. You're putting time before me. Time is more important than me. And it's like, it's not like that. It's like, you don't respect my time if you're late. you know? So it's just like no good. So he believes it's fine to be late, and I don't believe it's fine to be late, you know? But I just think it's unreliable and untrustworthy. You know, and like clearly he's like lying about Facebook. Well, maybe he didn't block me, he just deleted, but it's horrible. You know, if someone's reassuring you, if you're crying, he was stroking my hair and saying everything's going to be fine. Then, you know, when he's not even got home yet, he's then deleting his Facebook so he can't speak to me on there. You know, and he's like, I'd rather live in the real world. It's like, excuse me, I am the real world, and that's how you communicating with me. And at the end of the day, you're still on social media. And I told him on the phone, I said, I've met some of my best friends on social media. And then I've met them in person. He goes, oh, if I want to speak to someone, I just phone them up. I don't respond to their comments. I don't even respond to their messages. But I mean, not responding to people's messages is not good. So it seems to me he just wants a quiet life, as in to stay indoors most of the time, just sleep and get money, and that's it. And doesn't want to be like doing all the time, energy, and effort into a relationship. It just seems like it's too much for him or something, and he'd rather have an easier life, you know. So, but you know, whoever he gets into a relationship with, he's gonna have to put work, time, energy, and effort into it. Whoever he's with, you know. And the person last year ghosted him, and pretty much he did that to me on Facebook. Apart from he called me, you know what I mean? It's not good. And he's saying, "Oh, I didn't block you. I've got a problem with my account." It's like, you know what I mean? It's like he's looking at Facebook features. He was on there for over an hour, so clearly he did something to me to it, and he didn't respond to my last messages on there anyway. So he just said, "Oh, I'd rather be in the real world than on social media." Let's forget about him. You have me to look after you. Icy mate. I have no idea what you look like, who you are, where you are in the world. Yeah. But thank you anyway. I do appreciate it. It's very sweet. But yeah, I got another Indian guy. I say just forget about him. Everyone's just like, all the Indian guys are like, just forget about him now. I'm here. Just forget about him. I'm like, oh my god. But it's like, you know, I'm very faithful and loyal when I'm in a relationship. I'm not going around like, you know, like even if I got Indian, even when I was in a relationship with them, I had Indian guys in my inbox, but I blocked 3 of them actually. You know, so I'm very loyal and faithful, but you know, it's like, what's the frigging point if you're not gonna, you know, have the same level back or whatever? So it's hard, it's really hard, you know, because I thought he had so many good qualities. I thought he was a really nice guy, you know. I don't regret trying a relationship with him. I don't regret being in a relationship with him. I'm sad for myself that it ended like this. I'm sad that he did that to me. I think it's disgusting behavior that he can just delete Facebook or whatever and cut me off like that. I think it's disgusting he lied about that. Clearly he's done something to his Facebook, you know what I mean? Even if you're locked out of your Facebook account, that doesn't delete your Facebook. It just means you're locked out of it. You know, so I don't even know if he's got 2 Facebooks. It looks like he has, but I don't know. So anyway, I'm just really like thinking that I am happier being single. I'm upset right now. It's hard because in some ways I thought he was my dream guy. In terms of looks, he was definitely my dream guy. But you know, you can't have a relationship just based on looks. At the end of the day, there has to be other things like morals, values, beliefs, ethics, and stuff like that, you know. Um so yeah, it's really difficult because yes, on Saturday we're eating together and laughing together and everything was really good and we got on so well. You know, it's just like it wasn't the beginning of a relationship. And then yesterday it was the opposite where I was upset because you know, I can't help but be upset if there's some difficulties in the relationship that I'm not happy with. And someone who loves me should want to put those things right and should want to better the relationship, not like just make things worse and just get rid of Facebook so I can't even video call or speak to him anymore. Do you know what I mean? So it's horrible, really. I wouldn't do that to someone, but then I'm not like that, am I? I'm not the type of person that goes around being horrible like that. You know, it's really difficult, you know, but I guess he'd like it because you know, he doesn't have to do any work now. He can just go to sleep in peace and harmony and not do anything much for this life in terms of being with me. And then he can go and get his dream job elsewhere, just not have his dream girl. He told me I was his dream girl. Clearly, I'm not his dream girl in the end. So yeah, wish him the best of luck. But what can you do? Like, I don't think he treated me very well in the end, and I think that's a shame because I think I deserve to be treated with respect. I deserve my time to be respected. I deserve myself to be respected. I deserve to have as much love reciprocated, as much like feeling and emotion reciprocated, as much feeling reciprocated. I deserve to have empathy and I deserve to have attentiveness. You know, like if someone's looking away when you're talking to them, it's just so rude. I find it so rude and horrible, you know. It's just not nice. So, you know, I it's horrible though, isn't it? When you think someone's really nice person, you see so much good in them, and then you're like, oh, this is the opposite now, you know? And I don't you know, I think he confused me as well by the fact he said, "Oh, I am gonna move to Exeter." Like, he was still saying that last night. I'm thinking, "But none of the other behaviors and actions you've shown me mean you want to be in a relationship with me anymore." Like, deleting Facebook or blocking me, whatever you did, doesn't prove to me you wanna actually come and move to Exeter. It proves the opposite, that you don't actually want communication with me. You don't want to video call with me anymore. You don't want to be in my life really much anymore. Do you know what I mean? So, it's just horrible. So yeah, that's how it ended really, you know, with him saying, "Oh, you're not respecting me and my time because I'm not respecting him in his time because he needs to get some sleep now. And the laundry and sleeping and eating is more important than me." So he's clearly not even fighting for the relationship anymore, fighting to stay with me anymore because he clearly doesn't want that, you know? So I just wished he'd been honest with me and told me the truth, you know? Rather than lying or deceiving or whatever he was doing with me, you know? I said to him, I don't even know in the end, I said, "I don't even know why you're with me. Like, what's the point? If you're gonna delete me off, you know, do whatever on Facebook, block me or whatever he's done." So, you know, it's horrible. I would not do that to someone. If I loved him, even if I don't really love someone that much, I can't go around doing that to someone. You know, I at least have to say to them something. You know, like, I just have to send them a message to say, like, it's over at the very least, not just, like, do that. So I sent him some messages last night to say clearly it's over. And then as he blocked me on Facebook, I blocked him on Instagram. And he's like, oh, when I phoned up, he goes, "Oh, you blocked me on Instagram." I said, "Yeah, but I didn't block you on my phone. And I thought you'd already blocked me on Facebook. So clearly you didn't want a relationship with me anyway." You know? So you know, I said, "But I kept the phone unblocked in case you did phone me," which you have done. But he's like, he swears, "Oh, I swear I didn't block you." It's like, well, he must, from what I can tell from people that has checked his profile, he's deleted his profile. He's either deleted it or temporarily disabled it or something. But he was clearly like on there trying to, you know, I am Arab. Thank you. But yeah, so it's hard, you know, it's hard when you think you know someone, when you love someone implicitly and they make you feel really reassured. And even in his last messages, he's like, "Oh, love you to the moon and back," before he even deleted his Facebook. It's like, it's just such a lie. It's like, you clearly don't love someone if you just can cut off from them like that, you know? That's not love, is it? It's not love if you don't show up on time and care about their time and value it. You know, he would argue it's not love if I'm a few minutes late and you get angry with me because I'm just washing up. But it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, so yeah, it's not good. But anyway, I wish him the best of luck in his life. He'll be able to go and get his dream career now. I don't know if he'll ever regret not being in a relationship with me. Probably, maybe, or not, as the case might be. He might just be happy it's over and relieved and he can get his sleep. Then when he's bored in the evenings, he might think twice. But yeah, but clearly I'm not the right girl for him. He's not the right guy for me. So after all, and I got it wrong about him being my soulmate. It's really weird though, because you know, like he did say to me, like in the beginning, that he could have left the UK. Like last year, he's had a visa for Canada from about 6 or 8 months already, and he could have left then, but he didn't. And then he could have started a business in back in India this year, but he didn't. He kept coming back to the UK, and he didn't know why. You know, and I thought it was because he was destined to meet me, and I think he thought that he was destined to stay in the UK and probably meet me, but he didn't see all the soulmate stuff I saw. But he did, you know, he did say that 2014, which was a year I started looking for my Indian soulmate, was a year he decided to change career and not do the family business, and that's how he ended up in the UK. So it's the same year I was looking for my soulmate. So it kind of added up that he probably was my soulmate, but not just that, because of the way I felt when I was with him and the way he felt with me, and it was all good and everything. So in the beginning, but yeah, so how quickly things change, huh? But you know, like, I take responsibility for the fact I did allow him to get into a relationship with me quickly, and you know, I learned that I can do some more touching in some circumstances with the guy that I didn't thought I could do. So I learned that about myself. I don't think I could do that with just any guy though. I think I'd have to be really aesthetically attracted to him. and comfortable physically with him. I was very comfortable physically with him, more comfortable physically than I've probably been with anyone in years. So yeah, that was really difficult. I did think I should still be with an Indian guy, even though he's not the right Indian guy for me. I did feel good that I was with an Indian guy, a younger Indian guy. I felt that that was right for me to be with a younger Indian guy, but I guess I need someone who's more mature and who can like handle difficulties in a relationship and sort problems out more and be a team player more, I'm guessing, and someone who's like proud a bit more on his own social media to be seen with me. And I like the fact he wasn't all over social media. What kind of touching? I'm not going to discuss what type of touching on here because it's something that in general I would say no, I don't like. On me it's like front bit, it's like no, I don't want the guy touching me. So I don't want to talk about that. But it might come out in one of my books, but I don't want to talk about that on here. So yeah, not at the moment anyway. So I don't want people to go around thinking I'm up for touching their body, which is like overall I'm not usually like that. I think he was just an exception to the rule usually for some reason, because I really felt physically comfortable around him and I liked his body, and I'm usually not interested in guys' bodies whatsoever at all, because they're usually not my aesthetic type, and he was really like spot on my aesthetic type. Doesn't mean to say I can't find another guy that's my aesthetic type though, but so yeah. But he'll be able to go and find his dream job now. I doubt he's shedding many tears. He's probably happy that he doesn't have to try and make an effort in a relationship anymore. He doesn't have to come and see me anymore. He doesn't have to like use Facebook Messenger anymore to speak to me. So he's probably really happy about all those things. Personally, I'd rather have a loving, caring, kind, committed girl than, than that. But there we go. It's his choice, isn't it? Really, and decision, and it's my choice not to put up with behavior that I do not think is acceptable, and to lower my standards. I don't want to lower my standards thinking it's okay for a guy to be late for me. Because I said it's the beginning of our relationship. You're already being late to video calls. What's going to happen in like a few weeks from now, a month from now, like 6 months now, a year now? It's just going to get worse and worse and worse if you think it's okay to be a little bit late. Because he was like, oh, I don't care if you're 5 minutes late, quarter of an hour, or half an hour. I'm thinking, hang on a minute. So you're saying that we could just be like late for each other at those? It doesn't work for me. It just really doesn't work for me. He's like, oh, I'm flexible to you. You can just message me and tell me we're calling tonight. But at the end of the day, that I don't think that's good for him or good for me, in case he's scheduled something else, in case especially I have. It's just, but it's a shame. I think I don't regret getting into a relationship. I don't regret trying to be in a relationship with an Indian, or being in a brief relationship with an Indian guy. I think it's a good experience for me to have. Not good experience in the sense that it didn't work out well, but good that I got to feel what it would be like to be with an Indian guy who's aesthetic, my type, younger, and who I did in general get on well with. He was vegan, which I liked, vegetarian, which I liked about him, sorry, but he does drink a bit of alcohol. I don't personally like drinking. I prefer to be with a guy who didn't drink at all, because I did have an incident years ago with a guy who was my boyfriend, who was touching me all over when he was drunk, and I didn't like that. You need to go. You need to go Arab man. Thank you. But you know what I mean. So yeah. Anyway, I wish him luck in his life. I did love him. I wasn't lying about that. I did really genuinely care about him, and I did want him to be happy. So yeah. But I don't regret things, because I think life is too short for regrets. And it's a shame, because it was really upsetting for me. I'm still upset about it now, but what can you do? You have to let someone go. If someone's right for you, they'll come back in your life and they'll change and sort their behavior out. But I don't see him coming back in my life. I don't see him changing his behavior. I don't see him valuing my worth anymore. When someone doesn't value worth anymore, you have to leave, because they'll just walk all over you and not be good for you anymore. So it's better just to leave their life and think, well, someone else, either I'll stay single forever and be happy being single, or someone else who's better for me, more deserving of me, will be with me. And I think he took me for granted in the end. I think he thought I was a headache more than a joy, but that's his opinion, and I don't think he's looking at all my good qualities. But there we go. So anyway, I'm sad, but I'm happy. I'll be happier being single, at least for now, because, you know, I was being miserable at the end of that relationship. I was being sad and getting upset all the time, stressed, not able to do my work. My book was supposed to come out, Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual, on Sunday, yesterday. But of course, because of this relationship breakup, I've been too upset to finish it, you know, and I was with him all weekend, so I didn't get everything done. And I've still been doing some course to do with like book publishing. So yeah, it's not done. It's still upload, like I'm still in the publishing process on Amazon, so I still intend to get that done this week. I guess this will be some stuff I can put in my Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual book too, you know, that I'm currently been working on. But it's sad. I'd rather have the person than the diary book, you know. I loved him implicitly, but there we go. So but I'm better off on my own and being single and being happy and getting my happiness back and my soul back. Anyway, lots of love to you. Thank you for watching. Thanks for everyone who's been in chat. Thank you, Dragos. Thank you, Ooey Ooey. Thank you, Shy Cat. Thank you, Orangutan Man. Thank you, CC's Art. And also thank you to Icy Matey and Daria and Mr. Blow Your House. Right, okay. Lots of love to you. Thanks for being in chat. Take care, and always, always be your true, authentic self, and know that you are stronger than your current circumstances. Your current circumstances do not dictate your future, and you can triumph over anything, and you will be your beautiful self always. And send yourself lots of love and keep being strong and know you can get through anything. This is a temporary setback. This is a temporary upset for me. I will get through it. There are lots of other guys out there in the world. I am beautiful and strong and kind and caring, loving, and it's his loss. Lots of love to you. Take care, and I love you. See you soon. Bye.